is something that helps you, not theoretically helps the network, but helps you, that is something we actually want to hear about. One, that's actually a mission for the foundation, and two, 90% of the time there's someone else who it's going to help too. But if that is something as simple as, I want to talk to someone about getting a job, or I need to beef up publications because I'm going up for tenure, those are things that fall within that. And I'm sure there are a lot of other examples, but that's all I got with that. I'm going to hand it over to Meg.
I appreciate that. Real quick, who are current fellows?
The newbies.
And grad students, if anyone else fits in that category. Okay. Real important for you guys to do exactly what you said, which is tell us what would be helpful, because when it really comes down to it, I'm going to kind of take through a list of some of the programming that the amazing folks at this foundation have been putting together for all of us. But you guys want to be building out your resume pretty heavily right now, and the more that you guys can participate or even lead on panel discussions and stuff like that, it really is going to help you and just show a little more effort, a little more robustness in your resume. If you can put down that you did a couple of these things at the grad student level, it just shows signals to those employers as you're going on the job market that you have these additional skills and capabilities in place. So this last year, there were a variety of new programs and initiatives, speaker series, etc., that really are trying to push out and highlight some of the great things that the network has been doing, both from the fellow side and from the alumni side, and then just really still doubling down on this vast network that Secretary Rumsfeld built out and has been continuing through the Rumsfeld Foundation. There were a number of audiences with author speaker series. I think that left, but Dr. Kronig, I believe, was one of the folks who did one of these. I believe Dr. Invoden did one as well, who was my chair and just the best human. Actually, Dr. Kronig is now the fellowship lead for at the Atlantic Council, where I'm under his program. So actually, both of them are at one point my boss. Let's see. And through that, you're able to engage with folks, but also doubling down. You guys are all grad students or in this network. You can also independently email these authors when you read their books. Make sure to give them a little kudos. They'll feel really good about it afterwards if you end up reading them. Yeah, let's see. Oh, and those were led by fellows in the nuclear field. So that's an example. You get to actually lead discussions with these top scholars in the field. There were career conversations by, we call them seasoned fellows, so two events hosted so far in navigating the federal hiring process, and then PMF, or Presidential Management Fellowship. I applied and did not get it, so that would have been very helpful when I was a PhD student myself. Like, strongly enough, really, really take advantage of this network. I've been a fellow since well, not a fellow. I was a fellow in 2015. I walked in 2017, and yet at every stage of my career so far, there's been value. So know that this isn't just a one-year thing. It's going to create some value for you going forward for years.
I think I applied for the PMF 3 times. So it would have been helpful to connect with a more seasoned fellow that was in fact a PMF finalist. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the ongoing initiatives related to the network. And the first one is kind of Network Connect. This is kind of the annual mentor-mentee relationship that we encourage. I think since 2022, over 40 different matches have been made. And the idea here is to really establish much more of a kind of substantive, enduring professional relationship among certain members of the network. I, for example, had multiple conversations with folks wanting to understand the complexities of getting a job on Capitol Hill, which is highly opaque. And so I see all those who have previously worked on the Hill are nodding their heads vigorously. So the idea here is for the network to leverage its expertise and its resources to help those seeking to land jobs. What's the point of a network if we don't actually help each other here? Particularly navigating complex processes like USA Jobs, in my case PMF applications, things like that. So the idea here is to build a real relationship that then can kind of transcend the current professional moment actually. The second is Advisor Hours Directory. So if you didn't know, which this resource I don't think was a resource when I was a fellow at the time, but we have, over 20 advisors here that have had amazing careers in and out of government, in and out of the private sector, and want to be a resource to those looking to kind of enter the professional field or make maybe a professional pivot if you're already kind of mid-career here, and have made themselves available through the network to have a whole range of conversations. My first jobs were absolutely the result of mentors at my graduate program who also happened to be advisors for the Rumsfeld Foundation to land multiple different interesting political opportunities. And so leveraging the network is highly encouraged, and I think again we keep coming back to Donald Rumsfeld's vision here, and the idea is that people are kind of power in that sense, and building relationships hopefully is the way that we can kind of continue to facilitate that. The third initiative is a meeting fund. This is what I would call probably the Rumsfeld business credit card. So, if there is, if you want to take the proactive initiative to organize fellow meetups, if you want to cover mentor-mentee conversations in the Network Connect, the foundation actually wants to facilitate that by supporting it financially. So this is something that is a no-brainer. If there's a new happy hour spot that you think would be great for fellows to convene at, maybe the foundation might actually want to play a role in enhancing those connected activities, so to speak. And then finally, there's the Alumni of the Year Award, which kind of recognizes terrific, outstanding achievements for the public servants in our network, and we have a lot of them given the over 200 fellows that we have. Advisors make nominations, highlight important work, and fellows are really asked to also nominate each other here too. So the idea here is best what your fellow network fellows are doing, and whether or not they should be recognized for it. And so as we kind of grow this network, the idea here is to encourage that and recognize that publicly. So and I think tonight we'll actually have the award for this year handed out. So that's it on the network front. Seems like all common sense opportunities.
Well, I feel better about my filthy ineptitude now, too, if both of you guys also do. Yeah, well, yeah. So just to kind of like finish this out and kind of a call to action here, as far as like how to kind of utilize this network, what is next steps leading this conference? To kind of frame this, I've done a lot of the young professional organizations, fellowships, all of that here in DC. But I think what's really unique about the Rumsfeld Foundation is that I actually didn't seek it out. Like these advisors like choose us, and it's like it is such an amazing gift when you're in grad school, like the financial support, that it feels like this undeserved opportunity in a lot of ways. And I think about that a lot, like how Rumsfeld has like continued to kind of like support me throughout my career here in DC, of just kind of like undeserved gift after undeserved gift. And I'm very thankful for this network, and it changed my like grad school experience and significantly with the financial support and through the advisor network and the network of other fellows. So just something that like I've thought a lot about that. I apply to a lot of these other fellowship opportunities or kind of seek those out, but this was one that I just feel like was kind of dropped in my lap, and I'm very thankful for that. And because of that, I think there is kind of this like duty that we have to continue kind of paying it forward and passing it along, whether it is continuing to work with your alma mater and like being connected to the advisor network there and kind of helping bring other students into this network, or whether it is coming to these our two main events with the spring retreat and the fall conference, and making those connections and volunteering to help host a roundtable, or just kind of like being involved in whatever way makes sense. And the thing that I've also thought a lot about is the folks over at this table mean it when they say, like, if you have an idea for something, like, we want to do what is helpful for the network. So if there is an author that you really want to connect with, whether or not they're involved in the network, bring the idea, and like we'll see what we can make happen. And I think there's also the piece of it that like I think the network meetup fund was like an idea that somebody brought up, and like, hey, like this would be a good incentive. So like there are other things that would make it easier to be involved in these, bring the ideas. I think that there is, like Meg said, that everyone understands like work weeks get busy, different time zones, all of that. So if you have ideas of ways to kind of continue the conversation of like little touch points throughout the year, whether it is having like more kind of like sector specific connections or topics that we want to have like a series on and kind of like organize around that. Those are things that the network is really looking for from fellows. So it's an open door policy with the Alumni Council. I'm sure that the three lovely ladies over here would say the same thing, and Thomas too. So yeah, just make this what you want from it. Having a network with financial support, with more people to kind of like put on events, all of that, it's such a resource throughout especially the early career. So just utilize that, and it's just something that I've reflected on a lot of how grateful I am for the way that Rumsfeld has supported the last 5 years since I finished grad school. So I think that closes us out, Ben.
Sure does.
Thank you guys.